And I think I'm okay. Perfect. We are live. So,
Yes, hey
hi,
everyone.
cousin. Hello,
Hi,
Facebook.
cousin.
And
Hi, IG.
hello, IG and YouTube. Welcome to another Monday night of Great Minds with Lady Nerissa and Stacy.
Ooh,
I should just say cousin Nerissa and
cause
Stacy.
yes, that's fine.
Oh my God. How was your day?
I created an awesome one. I did. I did.
Good.
I
Yes.
did.
Create a
I
fabulous
um
day.
I set a budget, or I set a goal, should say, this
Okay.
morning, and I was like, I'm gonna hit that goal at work. I'm gonna hit
Yes.
that goal. I'm gonna hit that goal, and it took me, the entire day. But guess what? I met that goal.
You hit your goal. That's right.
Yes,
Well,
and it was
that's
a
awesome.
personal goal. Yes.
So tonight, well, congratulations. I know that you know how I feel about that. Once you believe it, when you say it and you believe it, it's going to
Hmm.
happen. That's just how it works. And
Yes.
tonight on Great Minds, we're going to talk about inspiring to your greatness and acting on your dreams. And
Yes.
my cousin Nerissa chose that topic. And now I'm going to ask her why. Why did you choose that topic? You know, I always want to know why you make the decisions on our topics.
um Especially during this time that we're in, a lot of us probably, have given up a lot, like even before we started having inspirational corner, and I used to do the Monday morning motivation. I used to tell them, listen, 2020 is not over yet. We had like 3 more months at the time, and we can still make 2020 great. So I just want to remind the people not to give up on anything.
Yes.
Like even at some, like if you do a job and probably you're not the best employee in the boss's eyes, but you do your best, don't quit on the job. Don't quit, just continue. Let them drag you out of that building.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yes, so this is why I want to, empower and implore us
Mm-hmm.
not to give up, just continue, whatever goals it is just stick to it.
And you know that's an awesome reason for bringing up this topic, and it's an awesome time to be talking about this topic because we do have 2.5 more months into the year, and as we move into a new year, a lot of times we tend to want to um, set what people call resolutions,
Resolutions, yes.
or we want to set um, things that like we're changing things. And we don't have to change anything. We can bring into 2021 the goals that we were working on 2020,
2020, yes.
especially if we hadn't bring them all to fruition in the first place. So
Moraine is on our IG.
I see her. Hey,
Okay, continue,
Moraine.
sorry.
So let's talk about this
Power.
bringing
Mhm.
your inspiring yourself to
Power to
greatness,
greatness.
right? And not your intentions was not giving up on your dreams. And you know, a lot of people dare to dream. And
Mm.
there are people who dream, but they don't want anybody else to know that they're
Mm.
dreaming because they're afraid that somebody may think that that which they're dreaming about is um, silly,
Foolish, or yes.
foolish, stupid, not a great
Mm-hmm.
idea. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. You know, all of those things. But one of the things is that's important is your dream as your journey is yours. It
Yes.
is it is not to be compared with somebody else's dream, somebody else's journey. Everybody's path is their
Mm-hmm.
path, and it's not it's not, you know, me and you, cuz we do
Mm-hmm.
this and we
Yes.
have a lot in common, which is why we call ourselves great minds, but our
Minds, yes.
paths are completely different.
Difference, yes. We
Okay.
may cross at times, but it's two completely different paths. Yes.
And even if we have similar things that we do or similar actions that happen, we're still on two different paths. So first and foremost, when you are, hey Tiffany, welcome. When we're talking about inspiring yourself to greatness and not giving up on your dreams, and we're
And
talking about
acting on them. Yes.
and action
Yes.
on your dreams.
Yes.
But most importantly is it is okay to dream out loud, because a lot of times we dream quietly, and we dream quietly because we're concerned about what people are going to say about what we're dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the times we dream quietly because once upon a time, very long time ago, we used to dream out loud and somebody shut that down.
Yes.
And so we carry that with us, right?
Right.
So if you're out there and you're listening, think about this. What are your dreams? What are some of the things that you dreamt about? And I'm not talking about just the things you close your eyes and dream, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about dreaming big, things that you want to accomplish, things that you aspire to do, things that you know deep down in your heart is your genius self. Like those are the things that, man, if I do this, that's my genius. Somebody's Moraine
Yes.
said people
Mm-hmm.
mention Joseph in the Bible. Yeah, so just what are those things? What are the dreams that you have? And when was the last time that you gave those dreams any type of attention? When was the last time you even think about them or thought about them or said, man, I still want to do blank, whatever blank is,
Mm-hmm.
or I still aspire to be whatever that is, right?
Yes.
So, first and foremost, dream and dream big. In my household, I tell my kids, if your dreams aren't extravagantly big, they're
Mm-hmm.
not it's not your real dream, because typically your real dream is huge, and you try to suppress it because you think that you can't accomplish it. But what is that dream? What is that thing? When was the last time you dreamed? So Tiffany says, perfect timing. I'm on a timeline by month end to make a huge step toward achieving an old goal. Look at that, an old
Oh,
goal.
look at that.
It took a pandemic and the realization that the career I was running from would be the most secure to make me step out on this. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic, like a friend of mine said, was truly a way for us to see things in clear vision,
Mm-hmm.
because it stilled us and it allowed us to rethink, and we had to pivot. So
Right.
when you have to pivot, you come up with some creative stuff, sister. So that's
Yes.
exciting. Please let us know. Let me know if there's anything I can do and how I can help you with that thing that you're trying to accomplish by month end. So,
All right. So, cousin, may I say
yes,
something?
yes,
And before I go to what Maureen is saying, just like we have these dreams and we dream out loud, and then people shut it down. But it's for us to know that it's our dream, and not everybody's gonna have our vision. A lot of us, even in 2020, we are giving up because of the whole pandemic. But that is supposed to be an eye opener. That
yes,
is supposed to tell us that, yeah, as Tiffany said about the job being secure. Like sometimes we're just existing, but we're supposed to just be living. So
yes,
sometimes it was just a wake up call. And I know that a lot of people were saying 2020 vision. It's really, even though all these so-called things are happening, but it's just a wake up call. It's an eye opener for us. And
yeah,
I'll just go to Moraine. That he shared his dreams and realized his brothers were haters. Nothing was able to stop his dream, so he would not be afraid to dream aloud or to dream
yes,
loud. Yes,
yes.
and that is so true. That is so true.
Because
Our cousin.
a lot of us dream in silence, and
Mm-hmm.
it is okay if you dream in silence if you're acting on them. And we're going to talk about
Mm-hmm.
that in a minute, about taking, inspired actions. But I have some more questions for you to consider when we talk about um, inspiring to your greatness and acting on your dreams, you should ask yourself, what do I wish to have or accomplish in my life, and why? Okay, so what are those things that you wanted to accomplish or you want to accomplish? And why do you want to accomplish those things? Because you have to ask these questions of yourself. Once you can acknowledge to yourself that, you know what, this is what I truly want to accomplish in life, then you're going to ask yourself, why do I want to accomplish that? And are you doing these things out of duty? Do you want to do this out of duty? Or are you doing it out of intentions and love? And the intentions and love is the true intention that this is what I'm truly about, and I love it. Or are you doing it out of duty because somebody said this is what your dream is?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what I just said. Somebody else
Mm-hmm.
said this is what your dream is. People can't tell you what to dream.
Right.
You and only you know what your
I
dream
know.
is, right? So Tiffany said, my cousin said the 0 at the end of 2020 means reset and refocus. That goes right in line with 2020 vision. Absolutely. I mean, all of us had to do a reset and a pivot this year.
Yes.
So, and I actually love 2020. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I could list a bunch of things that I've accomplished within this year.
It brought out things that you didn't know you had.
Yes.
It's like you were at a cul-de-sac, and it's like, are you going to stay there, or are you going to find a way out of there?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes.
The other thing that it did, it allowed us to see the true intentions of other people. Because what happens when you don't get to move as fast as you typically do, one, you can pay attention to what's going on around you. But two, other people, it's like they're in a pressure cooker. Unfortunately, it's ruined a lot of relationships. It's ruined a lot of marriages. There's a lot of things that happened, but the whole year brought about clarity because, we were forced to be together. We were forced. So if you are the type of person that needed to be solo, then this was a perfect thing for you because you got to lock yourself in and be solo. But when the connections that people were having, they were getting to see the real them. So relationships were going through changes, jobs were going through changes. People having to pivot and stay still meant that they had to soul search and find and work through their things. So it really wasn't all bad for everybody, right?
Everyone, right.
Okay. And so some of the other questions when you're thinking about this inspiring your greatness that you should ask yourself is, what are the things that you naturally love to do? So what wakes you up every day? What makes you want to get up every day? And find that thing, and what will you be willing to put in, invest, or give up to gain this thing, right? So there are all these different questions you have to ask yourself when you are talking about this subject. This subject is so personal. It's not something for you to go, oh, I'm going to go ask my friend, what do they think my dreams are? No, it's what your dreams are. And one of the things that I practice visualization. And I begin with the end in mind all the time. So no matter what it is the task that I'm out for, I'm always seeing it ahead of time. And visualization is really about staying still. Visualization is using all of your senses, seeing it, feeling it, smelling it, touching it, and really putting yourself in that space and time of the things that you want to accomplish. And if you try that, a lot of times you will feel it, see it, smell it, all of the senses will kick in, and you start really feeling good about it. Like you know, and if you don't feel good about it when you visualize it, it is not the
Mm-hmm.
thing. It is not the thing. So that visualization about this big dream of yours should feel freaking good. It
Mm-hmm.
really should feel good.
Right.
You know, have you practiced visualization, cousin?
I don't know if there's a right way to do it, but yeah, I always visualize myself. I don't know if there, but yeah, in my own way, yes. I
Yes.
don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way to do it, but yes, I
Listen.
do that constantly. Till I have to say,
Yes.
calm down, Nerissa.
Yes, there is no right or wrong way. Hey, Sheila, welcome. There is no right or wrong way to visualize or begin with the end in mind. Um, you know, just like your journey is not my journey,
Mm-hmm.
just like your path is not my path, your visualization is not my visualization.
Right.
And so I think people, and it's interesting you said, I don't know if I'm doing it right, I think people get so caught up on the mechanics of things and the
Mm-hmm.
mechanics of life when really it is about
Mm-hmm.
the mind and how you think about it and how you feel about it. A lot of times it's not about the mechanics of it. The mechanics of it is the end result of your mind. So let me see. Sheila says, I've practiced visualization and it's like planting. Oh no, it's like painting on a blank canvas. Oh my goodness,
That
yes.
must be so beautiful at the end, you know?
It no, no, I love that because I one of the analogies I always make is that I remember when I left my job that I was with for 21
Mm-hmm.
years. It was a scary and exciting move at the same time. And I remember telling myself, Stacy, you have a blank canvas. And I went out and I brought myself a canvas and I just sat it
Mm-hmm.
in my space. And I started thinking, what are all the things that I could paint? What can I paint my life to be? I love that analogy, Sheila, because if everybody on IG and Facebook and YouTube that's watching, if you think of your life as a blank canvas and you
Mm-hmm.
can paint any way you would like, finger paint, brush strokes,
Mm-hmm.
drawing, sponge painting, just think of all of the possibilities. And if you can think of that and see your life as that blank canvas, and now you're going to create it with the things that you
Yes.
desire to be. Oh, thank you for that, Sheila. That
Mm-hmm.
was awesome. That was awesome. We are creators. That was awesome. She said we're creators.
Yes. We are. We
So,
create the days how we want it to go. Like you
yes,
say, create a great day.
yes, create a great day. But let me ask you a question. Where does these self-defeating things come from that throws us off, make us start thinking that our dreams aren't good enough. What we want, what are we desiring, is nonsense or
Mm-hmm.
foolish, or it's never going to work out, or we're not good enough. Where do you think those come from? Cause
The devil.
where?
Where in our minds? In our
Yes,
minds?
yes.
It comes from our mind, but and it depends, you know. Even though I have this strong feeling about myself, for example, I have a high self-esteem, or I believe in myself, and I believe I can do anything. But then the surrounding is just so toxic. It
Hmm.
kind of blocks you. It kind of, you know, remember those speed bumps that we were talking about
Yes.
this morning? So yes, so it's kind of, it's, you know, the environment. And sometimes,
Okay.
even though you're trying to be positive and yes, I'm going to do this, but it's just so toxic around you.
Yes.
And sometimes even young people, like teenagers, they can't do anything but to live in that house that is so toxic, and
Mm-hmm.
so it causes all of these. So
Yes.
yeah, other than the devil in your mind, your
Yes.
environment can contribute to that too.
Yes. I agree.
Oh, yes. Go
Outside
ahead.
sources like parents, friends, social media,
Yes.
outside sources. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, one of the things that you just said about the environment is critical.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much, Moraine, for that, because a lot of times the reason why we talk about being inspired is inspiration. Um, we all have internal motivation that motivate us, right? But a lot of times, because we're not an island per se, we
Mm-hmm.
need
Yes.
external motivation. We need people to, like, we need that village. We need that,
Yes.
takes a village. We need that support. If your outside sources, your friends, your village, your support is toxic and it's not supporting you,
Mm-hmm.
then then it can be difficult. It can be really difficult. However, since you're the creator of your universe, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and you pull from your source and you use all of that, what you're pulling, then you then have to decide, what do you do with this toxic thing
Mm-hmm.
and things and people? What do you do with them? Let's see what Sheila says. Sheila says, having a vision for my life gives me a sense of gratitude. I feel open to hearing from the divine. I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's following her internal compass. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
that internal compass that you get from your source, your God,
Mm-hmm.
and that internal compass will guide you through the things that you need to do. And so one of the things is that you have to work on that environment. That environment, if you don't work on it, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
work. It's going to work
Work
against you,
against you. Yes.
right? The dreaming, sometimes it's things that we heard when we were so much younger, and
Mm-hmm.
that these things that we are dreaming about will not come to fruition because we're not good enough, or you can never do that, or that's stupid. You know how many people have heard that their dreams are stupid, and when
Mm.
they've heard that from such a long time ago, yet it is still very um, prevalent in their minds, and it's still something that's preventing them from moving forward in you know tapping into that genius that they have within them. So let's see. Moraine says, I feel like I have a rhythm and I can tell when it's off. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Um, and when that rhythm is off, for me, it's when I have people around me, or I'm in an environment that, like my cousin says, is toxic,
Mm-hmm.
and you can feel it. And when you feel that stuff, then you know that you have to make a shift or make a change. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. I'm all for a shift and a change.
Mm-hmm.
Sheila says, yes, I agree that we all need support, and even that can be created. I did teach this principle in 2018. That sounds fantastic. I'd love to hear more
Mm-hmm.
about that. You have to join
Yes.
us. I'd love for you
Yes.
to join us on Great Minds and talk about those principles. I'd love to hear that. And so here's another thing. So far we've talked about, knowing what your dreams are, dreaming
Mm-hmm.
big, not to compare your journey with somebody else's,
Somebody else's. Yes, definitely.
not to compare your dreams with somebody else's, um, but to also understand why are you afraid? Where are these self-defeating things coming from? And we've talked about people and places and environments, and Sheila says, of course, I'm here for you. So we might have to bring Sheila on
Okay. Yes,
um,
definitely.
to help us out and share that. And so, and then we talked about naturally knowing what your natural genius is. What are those things that you're naturally good at? And, but most importantly, are you being everything that you know that you can be? How many of us are living to our fullest potential?
Potential.
I know I'm not there yet. I've got
Mm-mm.
plenty more inside of me. How about
Me
you,
too.
cousin?
I don't even start. I'm just like at the foundation. I'm building a solid foundation. And as soon as our house is ready to be built, yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna be
Yes.
ready. Yes,
Listen,
I have so much. I have so much to give, so much to accomplish. There's just so much inside of me. Ready.
and, and I love that you say that because we all have so much inside of us to give, and we all
Mhm.
have so much that we can accomplish. Hey, Celeste. And
Hi.
I don't think we tap into our fullest potential. I think a lot of us we work from a very surface potential and we
Hmm.
don't give our all. We don't put our whole self into
Right.
or finding what our true genius is and finding what we're truly capable of. I'm telling you, if you tap into that full potential and
Hmm.
really give your all, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish.
Accomplished. That is so true. That is so true.
There, go
Yes.
ahead, cousin.
Yeah, so I was just saying that, yeah, I just have so much to give and so much to offer, and I don't think the platform is there, so I have to go ahead and build my own platform. They have this
Mhm.
thing that when there's this table and you're not invited, why not create your own table? Oh,
Mhm.
back to the word create.
There it is. Building your own. Like I
Yes,
hear people
building your
say,
own.
I don't get a seat at the table.
Yes.
Well, I want to teach my kids to go out there and
Mm-hmm.
cut cut down a tree or get get some recycled materials and build your
Mm-hmm.
own darn table,
Right, right.
right?
Exactly. Amen, Julian. Yes.
Yes, because we are creators. We're creators
Yes.
of our own destiny, and that includes our dreams. And dream big, dream so big that it scares you, and visualize that dream with all of your senses. See it, smell it, taste it. Put yourself in that moment so that
Hmm.
you can feel what it feels like. Um, let's see what Julie
Uh,
says. She
you're
said,
reading?
"You can read it."
Okay. Um, I can't. I
Oh, you
pinned
can't
it
see it?
and
You
it's
pinned
too
it.
long.
She
Yeah.
said, Miles Monroe said, to die with potential is irresponsible because your job, a generation of gift that is within you. And yes, your job, you have a generation of gift within
Yes.
you. So
It robs you.
it robs you.
Yes.
It robs a generation
Sorry.
of the gift that's in you.
Yes. I pinned it, so I'm so sorry.
That's
It didn't let
okay.
me.
So
Uh,
and she said my dad taught us
Maroon.
to create your own party and invite who you want to invite. That way you know who's there.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. That's good.
I love that. And then good evening, Brandy. Welcome. So then Sheila says, I believe that we can live an optimal life when we as people let go of the comparison syndrome and find our curiosity. Oh my God, I love that so much. Because you know what happens when we compare ourselves to each other?
Hmm.
It suffocates our creativity and it brings about our insecurities. I think that is probably one of the biggest dysfunction that we have as human beings is comparing ourselves and comparing our journeys.
Hmm.
And when no two journeys alike, no two self is
No.
alike.
No.
And the best way to remember this is When you go and get your fingerprint done, the reason why they do fingerprints is because no two fingerprint is the same.
Right.
And you can be identified uniquely by your fingerprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let
Right.
me let me ask you all this. If me and you have a different fingerprint, why in God's name are we comparing our journeys? Why are we comparing our
Mm-hmm.
dreams? Why are we comparing what we have? Why are we comparing what we can or cannot do?
Mm-hmm. As Jeline says, stay in our lanes, stay in our own lanes. We
Stay.
are all on different journeys, so just stay in that lane. That lane is yours, this is mine. Let's just
Yes.
continue on our own journey.
Yes. And look for those people that's going to inspire you through that journey. Look for those people who are going to uplift you. And don't get mad at the people who don't want to.
Right.
You can't force people to be on your side. You can't force people to agree with.
We're with you. We all think differently. We
Yes.
all think differently. We're two different organisms,
Yes.
we are different. We cannot think the same way, because then the world would be so boring,
Big
you
time
know
boring.
so
Big time.
yes, so we just need to respect other people's opinion, and go from there. We cannot expect someone to think like me. Like, no, we
Yes.
have two different thoughts.
Everything about what we do is unique. And I really encourage, great, well said, cousin. But I also want to encourage people to embrace their unique self,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just embrace that.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. It is. And if that's not something you learned early, you can teach yourself how to
Mm-hmm.
embrace your uniqueness. You can teach yourself,
Yes.
how to allow your creativity to flow. And don't try to box yourself into some kind of line. Um, I stay in my lane, but I don't stay within the lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not going to necessarily follow all the societal rules because a lot of them I don't even believe in. And a
Right.
lot of those rules, you know what I do? I turn that
Mm-hmm.
stuff upside down, change it all around, and do it my way.
Mm-hmm. In reference to the lane, it doesn't mean it's a guided thing that you're following. It's just be you, stay over there, be you. Stop coming and trying to be like me. So that's basically it's not something that's all right. This is your lane, run in this lane, but
Yes,
be you. You are in your lane. That means you are
yes,
you. Just be you. You
yes.
don't come over and try to be me.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
You want to be if you want to be disappointed, try to be like your neighbor.
Oh, no.
You want to be disappointed, try to be like your neighbor. Sheila says, we are like-minded, but not alike. There's a difference.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
There is,
Absolutely.
Sheila. There is.
A huge difference. So one of the things that we have to do better of on a whole, and when I say we, I include myself. Julene
Mhm.
says I can only be Julene. It's going to be too hard being Nerissa. Ain't that the truth?
Same here. Same here, Jeline. It's gonna be so hard
Yes.
being you. Yes, that
Yes.
is so true.
You have to be who you are. And the comparison part, like I said, if you want to be disappointed, try to compare yourself to your neighbor
Mhm.
and try to be like your neighbor, and you're
Ever.
going to be completely disappointed. If you don't embrace and continue to be just you, your unique self, your God-given gift,
Mhm.
your internal genius, who God made
Yes.
you out to be, tap that and
Mhm.
work that, right?
Yes.
Stop trying to be
Yes.
what everybody's showing themselves to be.
Mhm.
But
And sometimes it's a facade, okay, guys? We spoke about the Joneses a couple weeks ago. They don't exist. in my
No,
personal opinion.
there are no Joneses, and we really have to stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, and we have to keep up with ourselves. You know,
Hmm.
there are some sports, individual sports where you I you when you go out and you compete against yourself. So for example, my daughter is a swimmer, and when she's going out, she competes against her
Your
last
friend.
time.
Hmm.
So although she's in a race, and we may be really pumped to see whether she finishes first or last, or whatever, she comes in first or second, or even if she comes in last, as long as she beats her last time, which you beat your personal best, then
Hmm.
you have won the
Accomplished. Yeah.
game. You have
Hmm.
won the game. And I look at our lives and the things that we're trying to accomplish in the same manner. I don't compare my life with the next person. I compare my today with my yesterday, right?
Hmm.
So, what's the next thing that I'm going to do to beat my personal best? That's
Right.
that that's it in a nutshell. Beat your personal
Hmm.
best. Why are we trying to beat Nerissa's best or Stacy's best or Sheila's
Right.
best? There's no comparison.
No
Beat
comparison.
your personal best. And then there's something that I think is really important. Yes, gymnastic is like that too. My daughter used to do gymnastics for a long time, and that's how I used to teach her to beat her best. It was never about her teammates. She
Hmm.
switched to, and she did that for 5 years. So we were always about beating ourselves. And then now she's in swimming, and it's about
Hmm.
beating herself. So if we can look at our lives in that manner, beat your personal best
Best.
and
Yes.
not do the comparison game. Remember, comparing against your neighbor is going to heighten your insecurities. And we all have our
Hmm.
insecurities.
Right.
But if we're not competing against ourselves and we're competing against something that is not our fingerprint, right? Yes, becoming a better version of ourselves. And we all have
Each
that
and
better
every
version.
day. Right.
And if we're not competing against our fingerprint, but we start competing against the other person, we're setting ourselves up.
We're losing who we are.
Yes, setting ourselves up and losing ourselves. So, even with that, Brandy says your score contributes to the team, but your competition is always your last routine. I love that, Brandy. Your score contributes to the team, but your competition
Hmm.
is always your last routine. It's about you, it's about competing with you. And let's see. Moraine says, if I don't be myself, a lot of people would be missing
Would be
out.
missed out. Can you believe that? Yes.
That
That
is
is so
so
true.
true. That is so true. And what? I said that recently about unapologetically being who I
Hmm.
am. And when people say that, it's not about if you have growth opportunities that you're going to
Hmm.
say, no, this is how I am and I'm just going to be me. That's
Right.
not what I'm talking about. I am talking about being authentically who you are, living from your truth and living your real self. I'm not talking about being a jackass and thinking that that's okay, because it's not. If you're a jackass, you're
Right.
a jackass, and somebody needs to tell you that you are, and somebody needs to help you to move from your jackassness. However, I made up a word, y'all. However,
Hmm.
when I say being who you are and loving
Right.
who you are and accepting who you are, it is that person that you had hidden inside that you were afraid to bring out, and then you finally brought that person out, and that person has freed you, and it's allowed you to reach your goals, to dream out loud, and to accomplish things that you never thought you would. And because you brought that person out, you're a happier person.
Right.
You have internal joy.
Hmm.
That's what I'm talking about when I talk about people accepting me for me. I'm not talking about the other thing I said,
Mm-hmm.
being
Yes.
that person. I'm talking about you being a real, authentic, compassionate,
You.
kind person from the inner being, a person of love. So I'm going to give you another thing that I really encourage to do. So although I would encourage you to take inspired action every single day towards your goal,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if
Right.
you do something every day towards that goal, you're going to eventually succeed and you're going to eventually make it. And although I'm encouraging you to beat your personal best, one of the things that if I don't say it, I would be doing a disservice is that it is critical that you live in gratitude for where you are right now. And be grateful and thankful and take the moments in time to sit down and figure out all the things that you should be grateful for. Because until you can be grateful, until you can be thankful and accept what you currently have, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be very difficult for you to bring in what you want. So, a lot of times, guys, we spend our times going from one thing to the other, jumping, what's next? What's next? I'm going to beat my personal best without taking time to live in gratitude and to be grateful for the things
Mm-hmm.
we are already accomplished or the things that we have. And when we do that, we block the next step. When we
Mm.
don't live in gratitude, we block the next step. So yes,
Right.
beat your your personal best. But for God's sakes, take a moment, be still, and be grateful for your
Mm-hmm.
current, you know?
Right. Yes.
Celebrate your current even, you know? When do you stop and say, I did this and I feel good about it and I'm celebrating it? And I thank you, God, whomever your God is.
Mm-hmm.
I thank
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
for bringing this to me, and be grateful. So let me look at some comments. So Sheila says, here is my 2020 quote: I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That's why they made coffee.
Right.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And then Raymel says, small steps turn into big leaps. And then Antoinette says, real, authentic, compassionate person from the inside. Yes, sister, from the inside out.
Right out.
Not
Mm-hmm.
that fake surface business. Real,
Right.
authentic people. And Raymel says, everything in life has a polar opposite. There can be no good without bad, hot without cold. Whatever we give our attention to is what we will attract to us. Look for the good in everything in life, and you will be rewarded from the universe. Yes. Yes.
And just to add to Ramel, I know they're on two different platforms, but at the same time, Jeline says balance is key.
Yes. Yes. It's the yin to your yang. And I think a lot of times, oftentimes, there are a lot of people that is going out there in the world just looking for that other side of things, and they're not accepting the balance.
Right.
And this morning we talked about on Inspiration Corner that Nerisa and I do a quick 5-minute inspiration every Monday to help people through their week. And this morning it was about what happens when you have that big goal. What happens when you're going out there and you're doing your thing, and then you run into a speed bump and you run into a roadblock. What
Mm-hmm.
happens? What happens when the light turns red at the stop sign and it's taken forever to turn green? What do you do then? Oftentimes, y'all, we curl up in a ball and start feeling like we're failures.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, we question it. and we question it from a place like, it's our faults. Well, what we talked about this morning is that is your internal guidance. That is your compass. That is the thing that's telling you to stop for a moment, be still, reset, reassess.
Yes.
Roadblocks, speed bumps,
Bumps.
stop signs,
Mm-hmm.
they're all a part of the plan, right? When you didn't get
Right.
that job, it's all good. Wasn't
Mm-hmm.
for you anyway.
Right. Right. Or it wasn't your time.
Or it wasn't your time. Or it's allowing that to flow out so the
Yes.
better thing can flow in,
Flow in. Right.
right? Antoinette
Right.
said, be grateful for what you already have. Slow your internal roadrunner down.
Yes.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Slow your internal road runner down. I absolutely love
Wow.
that. Sheila said, I could not compare myself to someone who has never walked in my shoes. Period.
Right. Period.
Period. And I'm going to tell y'all a quick story about shoes in a minute. Brandy says, oh, good evening. She's saying good evening to everyone. And then Moraine says, start with one thing a day. For example, be grateful for your heart. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you put your hand over your heart and you feel that beat, that's where
Yes.
you start. Research what it does for you. You will be amazed how this one organ keeps you going.
Keep you going.
Yes. Just your heartbeat, just the fact that you woke up and you have a heartbeat is a place to start. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to give you a funny. So I go out there, I take Chloe to swim, and I sit out because of COVID. We don't go in. And I'm sitting out in the parking lot, and I open the car door and I kick off my shoes because I'm a barefoot girl, y'all. I love walking barefooted. I'm barefooted right now. It's just what I do. So I'm sitting in my car and I kick off my shoes, and then I had to move the car, and I shut the car door and I move the car. I pick up my daughter. We drive home. I get into my garage and I don't have my shoes. I left it in the parking lot where I was because I was so comfortable driving without shoes that I did just that. So anyway, it wasn't even a matter of an hour. I drive back there because I knew exactly where I left it. And when I got there, it was gone. So I go into the building and I said, hey, did anybody bring a pair of slides in? They're black, they're this, they're that. And the woman said, no. So I walk away, not upset, no reservations, could care less. I'm barefooted, by the way. I walk in the building barefooted. I go up in there. Hey, I can't find my shoes. I left it out there. Did somebody bring it in? The answer was no. And then all I could think about is what a funny story that is. But when Sheila just said that, when she made the comment about I could not compare myself to someone who have never walked in my shoes, it triggered for me that someone took my shoes and they're about to walk in it. I'm sorry, y'all. It triggered that for me. The question, however, is, and still remains, they're still not going to walk my journey.
No.
But if I go back to that place tomorrow and they really did take it and the shoes are gone, then all I can say is somebody needed them more than I did. And I have plenty more to put on my feet. But at the end of the day, they're still not going to walk my journey. They're still not going to walk my path, right? It's just what it is. Brandy says, so true. I used to wonder if I was doing something wrong when people fell away, but it's often just a test of patience and time for a revelation to occur. Brandy, listen, sister, it's not that they left your life, it's that God removed them from your life.
Yes.
It's not that the job quit you, it's that you were supposed to quit the job. It's not that there's a block up the street and now I'm going to be late for work. it's
Mm-hmm.
probably preventing you from running to something disastrous a mile down the road. And the more we can welcome the idea, even when things are painful. And this is where I had to really build my faith by being still, is that is always cool when things are good and feels good and it's
Mm-hmm.
happy. Excuse my dog, y'all. They're doing their thing. But what happens when the thing that we're going through is painful?
Mm.
Does it still mean that it's supposed to be? And once I really worked on building my faith,
Mm-hmm.
I recognized that even when I'm in pain, I can find the goodness in it.
Right.
And here in 2020, I've gone through some stuff. Don't be fooled. Yes, I came on every day and I did my thing and I talked my thing, but there were still things that were painful. But you know what I got out of those painful situations? I got out of it that it's what was aligned for me. It's what was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to happen. And as soon as I did that and I released that and accepted and surrendered that that's what it was supposed to be, all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden I start seeing the beauty of it. And I'm like, oh, that's why that's that. Right?
Yeah, I have Dixter. She was saying, looking at the positive side. So she's always looking at the positive side. You were saying something earlier, and it definitely, even when things are going awire or horrible, and we keep a positive mindset, we look at things on the positive side. Just as we were saying earlier about being grateful, the more we're grateful for one thing, then the more we will be blessed with many things.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, all things work together for good, Jeline says, for those who love the Lord and are called by his purpose. So even when things are happening and we think like, why is this happening? It's because it's working for our good. Just at that time, it's just, not going the way we think it should go. But
Yes.
it's going to work out. It's going to work out for our good.
Well, typically the reason we feel the way we feel, cousin, it's the emotional beliefs that we have. That if I think about my situation that I'm thinking about, it's that situation triggered old situation, which
Mhm.
triggered old emotions. And once I was able to clarify in my mind that, okay, but that's not what's happening right now, why are you letting that trigger that? Once
Mhm.
I cleared that up, I was like, okay, let's keep it moving, sister. Let's keep it moving. And so we are allowed to have these emotions. We're allowed to feel the
Mhm.
way we feel. Nobody can tell you not to, and no one should.
Mhm.
But as long as we don't live in those emotions and we eventually understand what those emotions triggered for us, because our emotions triggers our feelings, right?
Right.
And as long as we can identify that, so we know how to help that, help use that to inspire us for future, that's all that matters.
Yes. Yes.
Raymel says everything in life has a rhythm. There are seasons and cycles. We won't always have good times and won't always have bad. We often try to bring summer into fall. Yes, with relationships and things in our lives. We hold on to them when the cycle and season has come to an end. Oh my goodness, I love it. Enjoy the experiences and moments and lessons and blessings from them, and then
Yes. Yes.
let them
Let
go.
them go.
Thank you, brother Raymel. Let it
Mhm.
flow out so that other goodness can flow in. Everything in
Right.
life is a cycle. Flow it out, flow it in. And really, those types of things will help you to feel inspired, to feel more creativity, to open up and be able to dream aloud, when you allow things to flow.
Mhm.
FLOW, y'all.
So.
Pain breaks us open and receive what the universe is trying to tell us, because pain brings us stillness and quietness. Yep, I've
Mhm.
been through it a few times over, and every time I came out on the other end stronger. I'm not even
Stronger, yeah.
that is that is not even a cliche, y'all. It is for real. It's the real deal. It strengthens my mind so much that it just kind of give me boxing gloves for the next thing that's gonna come,
Mhm.
So you're
But
so
it
right.
that's life, we have, probably when we were younger, and not younger, like young adults, our problems weren't as bad as when we were, older. So it's
Yes,
like we were being prepared for what is to come. So we
yes,
went to this battle, we through this, it was like training. We had to deal with this because guess what? There's something bigger that is gonna come, and that's
yes,
gonna come. So it's like training.
yes.
Like we just have to go through this.
It's a foundational stacking blocks. It's like Legos, and you put the other one,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one, and then the other one. That's what life
Yes.
is all about. And when we are able to embrace life in that manner,
Mm-hmm.
then we won't find ourselves in such negative emotions, and I mean feelings and emotions
Mm-hmm.
all the time, because we allow flow. And Brandy says, I've learned to be positive yet prepared. These times are interesting. Yes, they are. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not all about positivity, I tell you, because some days I don't feel like being positive, but I use my mind to create that space and
Yes.
allow me to move forward. So I love that. And Moraine says, let them go.
Let them
All
go.
of those negative feelings, let them go so you can grow. So, guys, as we're coming to 2 minutes before the end of our show, I just want to say that when we're talking about inspiring to greatness, the inspiration first comes from within you. Everything that you do, like Raymel Bentley says, everything that you do, you create that environment. So it first comes from within you. And then you have to look around you and see, what are these forces around me, people,
Mm-hmm.
things, who
Mm-hmm.
are they? And do they belong in my space? And when we talk about being authentic and being true to yourself, I am not talking about being a jackass and telling people that it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to be a jackass. That's not it. I'm talking
Right.
about the true you, the inner kindness, the person who's serving others, the person who's understanding. That person, not the perfect person, does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
most importantly, one of the things I want to wrap up with, and I'm going to pass it over to my cousin to wrap up, is stop comparing yourself to others. Your journey is your journey. Stop comparing, because there is no way that if you continue to compare yourself, are you going to feel confident, because your comparison with the next person is going to heighten your insecurities and suffocate your creativity. And what do you have to wrap up with before we go, cousin?
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. It was really great communicating and conversing with you all. And I'm just going to end with our theme for today: inspire for greatness and act on your dream. That's all I want to say. I don't want to add, I don't want to take away. Inspire to greatness, act on your dreams. That's
All
all I
right.
want to say. I want to end it right there.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining Great Minds, and we'll see you next week. I think I'm going to ask Sister Sheila to come join us, because she has an extension of the topic we had today, and I would love for her to join us and bring forth that she had, that she has, that she can share. And if you're on the replay, thank you for watching, and take care, guys. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Be safe. Be inspired.
All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful Monday. See you next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.